nail holes. You got two options. Option A is before you finish it. Option B is after you finish it. My choice is always before. But I realize, but we'll talk in a minute about the after thing, because a lot of times, you know, if you're installing, you know, if you're doing cabinets and whatever, and you're installing molding, toe kicks, whatever, you know, it's impossible to fill it and then finish it. But we'll look at that. All right. Everybody's seen this, knows about it. One of the problems that you have, if you have a coarse grained wood like an oak or something, I'll just use this maple, and you've got a nail hole and you wipe it, what happens is you get that filler all the way out around the outside of it, and so you wind up with a fill spot, and they can create you an issue. Now, I'm going to back up again and say that's another reason I like the water-based fillers, because if that happens, I can get in here and take a damp cloth and clean a lot of it, clean the most of it out. But the easiest way to do it is simply to put a piece of tape on, then do your nail. We're just going to pretend it's a nail hole. Set your nail, then fill it. Now I'm using a little bit of walnut filler on this maple plywood here just so you can see it. And we let it dry. Now I'm not, you know, and the thing of it is when we pull it off, we don't have all that filler. Works pretty neat. That's number one. Number two, now out here, and I'm going to apologize, I don't have any. I see in the box stores and stuff, they've got those little cans of soft putty, I think they call it, that you can use in a nail hole. They work okay, I guess. My choice is a little higher grade. It's a wax stick. It's a fill stick, like this. Now, one of the things when you're filling after the fact is you have a finish on there. Now, the finish is going to keep it from doing what we talked about, you know, filling it beforehand. The finish is going to keep it from getting into the grain, deep grain. If it does get in, you can wipe it off. Now, you can take one of these water bases and you can also wipe it on there. Now, it doesn't have a finish to it, okay, but it will handle it. It'll do it just fine. Now, one of the things with a fill stick is it's best if you can warm it and you got a little teeny something to put in the nail hole. Let me make one real quick. Now, I realize for you guys who do kitchen cabinets, you're going to look at this and say, man, that's too slow. I'm with you. But they do well. But again, I do furniture. So again, them little cans of putty. Now, I'm using a lighter here to warm this fill stick. It's a wax. It's kind of a wax. But I'm going to tell you up front, a lighter's not a good thing. And you'll talk about this in another segment. If you look at the edge of this, you see where it's black? That's because the flame on a lighter isn't hot enough. You want a good butane. Now I've got a little one, but it's kind of out. So, but if you get a butane lighter, you don't have that because it's going to burn with a blue flame. But now again, one of my favorite things to do is I just kind of warm it a little bit. And I can work it, put it right in there. Then I can just take and clean it off. Now you can take a little plastic squeegee and come right over top of it and it doesn't damage your finish. Now I didn't get all that off, but this ain't even sanded. If it had a finish on it, it would. The other thing you can do because this is harder than that soft putty. It's much firmer. As you can do, let me get the other end. You can just simply take and just kind of come across it and work it in. You got it. Now again, this is showing up on the wood because there's no finish on here. But this is just, a little plastic putty knife. Works really nice. That's kind of the way we deal with them. Now, can you use that wax before? Yeah, you can. It does pretty good. It really does. It does pretty good. And these little wax crayons, before I forget, you can get these through Gemini, which is Gemini. You can look it up. Again, Mohawk. Mohawk products, Mohawk, Balin, that whole group, when it comes to repairs, finishing, repair kits, also, that's their business. They've got it. And as we go through this series and different segments, you're going to see us using touch-up pins and stuff. They've got all that. All right? But I'm going to tell you this one other thing. And I've mentioned this I'll mention it all the way through. This is called fruit wood. If you got a dye or stain and it's called fruit wood and you decide you need a fruit wood crayon, maybe not. I'm telling you again, you just got to look and usually try to get 2 or 3. We'll get them in a kit. And some of them we never use, some of them we use occasionally, some of them we use all the time. And again, these are great to where you're in the middle of something and you just kind of touch it up. But we'll talk more about this in alternative fill methods. I just want to get the nail hole thing and make sure we got that covered.